All right. Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. So what we got coming at you right now is I just played in today's Pioneer Challenge, and we got a top 8, which is great. I've done maybe 3 or 4 challenges. Was hoping to top 8 one pretty soon because we have like not a rotation, but we have new cards coming in, and I think that this deck is really good in this meta, and I wanted to hopefully get some results in before there's a major meta change. This week, I will be making some content on my Patreon about how I think that Tyvar can be included in this list. So stay tuned for that if you're interested. What I'm going to do during this stream is I'm going to go through the game history and do a recap of all the matches. I'll do a nice edit for YouTube, but I had a couple people request wanting to see how this tournament went, and I'm not really confident enough to stream them live. I don't know what I'm doing enough on Twitch to do like a gap or anything like that. So I figured this was a good happy medium. Before we get started, we got 25 chests today. Let's see what we got. Endurance. Beseiju. Llanowar Wastes. I don't know if the World Tree does anything. White Plume Adventurer. Underworld Breach. That's a good one. 300 play points. I don't think anything else is really doing anything. But some big time cards. Happy with that. Super happy with that. Great. All right. All right. So this is the list that I played. Not much to say here. Not much different than other things that I've played on stream recently. Knight of Dust Shadow for Angels because it's pretty heavily represented in the meta. I'm trying on a Mass Vandal, which I'm really into, by the way. If you aren't on Mass Vandal and you are playing Vivian, I would highly recommend adding a Mass Vandal to your sideboard. But yeah, all right, let's just jump right into it. So we got game history, Premier top 8. We got that 6-2, 6-0 to 6-2. So let's go into round 1. Now, I made a pretty hasty post on Twitter, and I want to know how accurate that I ended up being because at the end of a Magic tournament, what ends up happening is your brain gets a little bit foggy. So that's what happened with me. I said that it was Nibdelite, red black mid range, Lotus Field, red black mid range, mono green, Lotus Field, red black mid range, and Blue White Spirits. And those middle rounds are a little bit fuzzy to me, and I'm realizing one is Rakdos Sack and not Rakdos Mid. So my post isn't completely accurate. I'm pretty sure this is Nibdelite. So let's just jump right into that. Full screen. And I'm just going to let this play out. Oh, sorry, this is a button that we press. All right, so we got to play. Solid hand, super solid hand. Nice. So we play Elvish Mystic, hoping to lead with the Dwin's Elite, double Shaman in the pack would be good. So actually, just commenting on this, this is Claudio who posted like a Blue White control list this week that I wanted to try out. My friend had actually tried out. Oh, hey, Nixperno. Thanks for tuning in. So I thought that I didn't even look at the companion. Thank you very much. I didn't even look at the companion, so I just saw Claudio. I saw that he had a companion, so I thought it was like the Kahira Blue White control list. And then it was a Giganta deck, so it was just kind of funny interaction. Untap. This is a good draw because now we can do it Inslee and Jaspera Sentinel. Pretty obvious plays here. Dreadbore was pretty good, but we just get Shaman in the pack and some attacks in. Their life total is going down pretty steadily. I don't know if it's a win next turn. Wandering Mind as a blocker is definitely powerful. Another Shaman in the pack, followed by some attacks. Bring them down to 1. They need to sweep here, and they don't. So we win that one pretty handily. Not really sure. Like, look at these lands. What am I supposed to do with these lands? I didn't really know what I was looking at. Obviously, Nibdelite is in mind. But, you know, Drowned Catacomb, Overgrown Tomb, like, are they leaning in a certain direction? I don't really know. So, go to game 2. on the draw this time. Stellar hand. Well, hopefully we stop drawing lands from here. But let's see what they do. So I'm just going to pause here because I'm pretty sure. Oh, kept going a little bit. Okay, I'm pretty sure. So this is a good thing to talk about. Do I want to play double Llanowar Elves, or do I want to play Leaf Crown Visionary? So the mindset was that this forces a single target removal spell, and then we can like play these two elves and like chord for 3 next turn, or chord for 5 in future turns. But if they don't have the single target removal spell, because it is a lot of colors in this deck, then we can draw cards pretty quickly off of this. So I ended up going for this. I don't really know if I had a third creature, I might have gone double Llanowar Elf, because then you can like double Llanowar Elf. They can't really sweep on 3, and then we can guarantee that we draw next turn with this. So I'll keep going. Oh, I hit 1 instead of okay. We'll hit play. Growth Spiral, not really sure what to do with that again. Thoughtseize ends up being really good. Let's pause. So we Thoughtseized this turn, and then we drew a card with Llanowar Elves. Thoughtseize first for more information. So when we Thoughtseized, we saw 3 lands and a Niv Mizzet, so it's pretty obvious what we take, right? Or I guess it's not obvious what we take. There's only one option to take. So I'm pretty happy just playing into this from here. They bought Gigantha with their turn, and we'll see what happens. We're in a pretty good spot. These draw cards in the future. Oh, sorry, this is where they bought Gigantha. We would like to draw some more action, but we're also happy just forcing a sweeper in future turns. We have a good way to recover from a sweeper if it does happen and they don't really have much else going on. Up here is a little bit of a weird decision point. We know they have 2 lands in hand. So we'll just pause. So they took this. So I have the option of Chord of Calling here. I think what I end up doing is Chord of Calling for Reclamation Sage, and Reclamation Sage just kills Leyline Binding, and then I draw a card with just Bear Sentinel. My other line is I could have just Chord of Calling for another Leaf Crown Visionary and drawn a card with just Bear Sentinel again. Uses a little bit less mana that way. Or maybe I could have drawn a card with Shaman of the Pack. I don't remember. But I ended up doing this because we go a little bit wider by having a creature out. But we can chord for whatever we want here, which is nice. But getting that Rex Sage, getting this back is really nice. We get to draw a card with just Bear Sentinel. And then hopefully we get some damage in next turn. Have a lot of things going on. They get the Vanishing Verse, which is definitely really powerful. But our turn's pretty good. Shaman does a lot here. Drawing the Elvish Mystic makes Shaman do even more, which is great. And then the game is over. I think they take one more draw step here, going to 1, going to 2. But they aren't able to find a sweeper or a Bring to Light or anything like that. So this could have been a close game. Who knows what their last cards were, but the Thoughtseize was really, really well timed. Thoughtseize is really overperforming. So that was round 1. Let's go into round 2. Another really good hand. I think I tricked myself into making the wrong play at this next part, but let's see. Yeah, Temple of Mystery. I feel like I play Visionary here where I want to play War Master. Oh no, never mind. We just play War Master, get the extra guy. We're good. Maybe I'm remembering a different thing. Oh, it's Swifty time. We'll get to our match soon, but congrats on splitting the finals. So it's 50 time. We played in the last round of the Swiss, and I got stomped because of a pithing needle. Correct me if I'm misremembering anything. And then I should pause this while we're going. Okay. And then I lost in the first round of top 8. But yeah, making it all the way to the finals is great. So while saying that, it looks like I missed a couple things. So we are playing against Lotus Field, and we have some pretty obvious board development so far, right? Like our turn 2 is the War Master, our turn 3 is playing all our guys and holding up enough so that Nykthos can get a collected company. Can't open it. My first challenge top 8. Sorry to hear that. I bet if you contact them, they'll let you know, or they'll do something. I don't know. It's under new management. This was also my first challenge top 8 too. So congrats on that. I'm sure they'll do something to rectify that though. At least fingers crossed. So yeah, what I'm doing here is I'm holding up for a collected company, and you're gonna see a big misplay coming up. Or maybe that's the second time I play Lotus Field. But yeah, I hold this up. Oh, I hit OK when I should be hitting play. I go in for some damage here because I figured it would be better. Like, I don't think they're going to try to trade with their Hope Tender. Them holding up mana with this is scary, for sure. But, you know, obviously I can't really do anything. So I collect a company here. I'm not really worried about counter spells in this matchup. And we got double War Master, which is insane. Not really much to think about here. We just need to activate Elvish War Master and we're good. I think what I was thinking about was, do I want to play this Mystic because it's free? But, you know, I don't think it matters either way. So we got this one. Round 2. Bringing in Thoughtseize. So we keep a hand with Thoughtseize and a way to cast Thoughtseize with just Bear Sentinel. And the nice thing about this is that we can actually cast Thoughtseize turn 2, even though we don't have a black mana source. You'll see that that plan changes as we keep going because I drew this War Master and I think I draw the 1-drop. We're happy to see that they don't have Hope Tender and they just have a Sylvan Scrying there. It's going to slow them down a little bit. But yeah, I'm not... So let's just pause real quick. So we have options right here, right? We can play Thoughtseize or we can play Llanowar Elves. I think it's correct to play Llanowar Elves. Now, the downside is if... and I think they actually have it, but the downside is if they have exactly a thing to untap and Perilous... Destroy all creatures convert mana cost 2 or less. That's worse. But any other sweeper, this is better. And I haven't seen them have like multiples of that one recently, with Angels being like the #1 creature deck. So I went with this, even though this is a lot safer. One trigger on a War Master ends up being worth a pretty sizable amount. They have that just as a blocker. So we play Dwindon's Elite so that we can use Despair Sentinel to tap one of the new ones so we don't lose the Summoning Sickness. And we're going to take... Pause. What did we take? Okay. So they had Hidden Strings, Omniscience, Lotus Field, and Path of Peril. That's the card I was talking about. So they actually could have done it last turn, which we would have lost the game on the spot if they had done that, but it was like their whole hand, right? They wouldn't really ever foreseeably be able to cast Omniscience if they did that. So I don't disagree with them knowing their hand and not knowing ours, that was, you know, the call that they made. But anyway, we took the Path of Peril, leaving them with Hidden Strings, Omniscience, Lotus Field. We really didn't have a choice, right? If they Path of Peril, we're dead. But we are a little bit afraid if they're able to get this Lotus Field out. Oh, you know what? They don't have Lotus Field in their hand. They have it on the board. If they're able to get this Omniscience out, it could be bad for us. You know, if they like draw a sweeper or something like that. But we're in a pretty good spot for now. I also last turn chose not to attack because this Court of Calling can get a Lord, and I think that's going to be more damage overall if I go for that, especially after taking the sweeper. Thespian Stage as it being pretty powerful. We're going to Chord for the Lord. I'm pretty sure we get the Lord. Let's see if I get a War Master here. definitely don't get a Phyrexian Revoker. Okay, great. And I drop a Seiju, so I'm holding here. We're gonna attack with everybody. My thought process with this pause worked nice is if they go for Thespian Stage here, and then they untap, they can Hidden Strings and Omniscience and cast whatever. That seems like a route to victory. Since they just decided to wait with this Thespian Stage, which they didn't really have any reason to, if I destroy Thespian Stage and they have just something that taps for 1, I think they'd have to draw something else for Hidden Strings to get them to get to Omniscience. So let's see if that's true. So this puts them at 4. In response to doing this, I can Beseiju that, which is nice. And now it seems like they're drawing to only a Sweeper as an out. And that's something that I like to be seeing. So great, we got that one. That's round 2. Post board. So we're going to round 3. I think this is red-black. I think. We got the play all 3 of the first games. We don't get that forever. But this is actually a pretty good hand. Elvish Mystic. Hopefully we're going to be able to do Elvish Mystic into Llanowar Visionary. I think they end up Fatal Pushing. Yes, they do. And then we have to play a naked Dwindon's Elite, which is not the best feeling. You got to imagine that we're going to lose a game that we're playing turn 2 Dwindon's Elite. But we get the land. We get the Llanowar Visionary. You see that? You see that fake out? So I try to tap this, but then I'm like, they shouldn't know what we have before I offer this trade. It was so bad to tap the mana first. But yeah, I offer the trade obviously, and then go for the draw card here. So Dwindon's Elite's not bad to draw when we have Quarter Calling access. If we draw land, we have Collected Company. You know, we're not in the worst spot. Quarter Calling being free, you know, might end up doing a lot of work for us. Drawing another Collected Company is not the best. But the plan here with 4 is that we can cord for a 1-drop and then Collected Company in the future. I end up taking this because we can't really afford to show them that we really need the 1-drop that badly. Taking extra damage is bad. Damage is a bad against Shieldred, but they didn't end up having Shieldred, so that's great. We're gonna cord for that 1-drop. Hope that this isn't a Fatal Push. It's not. So now we have the ability to Collected Company on their turn. I could do it now and try to hit a land drop off a draw trigger for just Barrow Sentinel, but it doesn't seem, you know, super worth it. I do Collected Company now. I wouldn't do this in post-board games. Let's just pause. I wouldn't Collected Company in post-board games here. I might take the hit or chump because they have sweepers, and I want a whole turn with whatever I get. But here, I think Collected Company was right. So we get the draw card, we get the trigger from War Master, and we are able to just chump. We're getting Quarter Calling for a Shaman, some extra damage. They're going to try to reduce that damage by 1, but they're not able to do it. So that was a great turn for us. Even like a Shieldred right now would probably not win the game. Now we're just Collected Companying to try to hit something good, but we have a lot of combat or a lot of damage on board to get in there for combat damage. So they did have the Fatal Push. Don't remember them having that, but they're at 4 and we're pretty wide right now. I'm not sure what they could have drawn to get out of that, but they were drawn to something. Okay. Game 2. Looks like we end up winning this one. This hand's super solid. Blooming Marsh is our best land. They took our Llanowar Visionary, obviously, which is really good. We know after that and drawing the land, we have not much going on anymore. Second Thought Scenes ends up being a little bit rough. Takes away a lot of our action. End up just, beating down. Crazy how much those 2 Thought Seizes took this like super solid hand down to a pretty bad hand. They didn't hit their 3rd land drop. So we're trying to beat down with these. Commence the beatdowns. Hopefully we can like draw a removal spell on a worthless creature, but you know, they're patient. They kill the War Master, which is, you know, solid on their part. Another War Master. We're trying to get them down pretty low. Again, we're trying to stop their patience, or hopefully they run out of patience, but they use the spell wisely. This is a moment where it seems like things are pretty bad for us. Seems, you know, unless we draw a Collected Company or a Vivian, it's hard to win this game, and we draw Vivian. So best card in the deck in this spot. Hopefully they don't Dreadbore, especially seeing Beseiju on top. But that Beseiju will help against this Fable Mirror Breaker. They conceivably will start hitting land drops from this point because of that. So we'll see what happens. But we do see, I think, is this going to be a Shieldred? Oh no, it's a Croxa. They end up having to take a pain off Sulphurous Spring, so that's pretty good for us. And then let's see what we get off the top. Shaman of the pack, and that's game. We minus on Vivian so that it's guaranteed lethal. Get the War Master, game's over. So that one went well for us. Going off into round 4, we end up losing a game in round 4. I'm pretty sure. What did I say this was on Twitter? Let's see. On Twitter, I said round 4 was red, black, mid. I had those mixed up. So this one's mono green. This is not our best hand against mono green. But you know, we got some things going on. We're gonna go really wide, really quickly. They don't have their best hand against us. Lovestruck Beast is pretty bad. This is an interesting spot because I think it seems. Whoa. I played Dwinnen's Elite there. So I had a War Master out, and I had the ability to play 2 more War Masters, which actually might be a first time for me. To play 3 War Masters or try to get 3 more Master triggers in one turn. So I play the first War Master, play the first War Master for the turn. We get the double trigger on the warrior tokens. And if I play the third War Master, there's no trigger from the previous 2. So I ended up playing Dwinnen's Elite. What this allows me to do is Court of Calling for an enormous amount. New follower, Ogle MTG. Thanks for following. I appreciate it. So this chord should be really powerful. If they hit a land drop here, that Ratchet Bomb would have been pretty devastating. Only taking out 3/1/1, so not as devastating as it could have been. Shaman would have still done really good work, but that one activation with them not having a huge amount of mana was pretty good for us. So we chord for 3, get Shaman, untap Shaman. That's game. So this one hits for 10, so the next one's going to hit for 13. And that's game. Once again, this is a pretty good matchup. This was a pretty fast hand. Turn 4 win. Can be too slow sometimes, but we're about to get stomped by green in this one. So we keep a pretty, you know, we don't have much going on here. But we do have turn 1 elf. We have Portal Calling for like Phyrexian Revoker and things like that, which is nice. Drawing the land there is not good. We wanted to drop really badly. But their hand's really quick. I ended up going for this because this Llanowar Elf isn't really ramping us to anything if we don't have anything going on. And next turn we can chord for 2 no matter what. And I think that's the plan. So we end up holding up enough to either chord for 2 or Beseiju in response to Nykthos activation. What they end up doing is really good against that plan. Then we end up losing the game for it. Because they untapped this forest. Like, they must have seen that Beseiju a mile away. So I do chord here. I kind of regret this. So I chord for 2, revealing Phyrexian Revoker. I think that this game's just over, and I should not show them that tech. But, you know, it is what it is. We play War Master. Not really much going on. Maybe we can get a Beseiju in response to Kiora targeting that. But we lose far before that's really ever an option. Dragon God and Karn. Very good. Okay. So we lose that one. We're on to game 3. People are asking me about my list. This is why I'm on the Court of Calling. I know you probably see me board out Court of Calling a lot, but that's why I'm on the Court of Calling list. Winning game 1 is so important. Um, Having access to go fast and breaking serve game 1 makes you only have to win one sideboard game, and that's really helpful. One of them's going to be on the play. So we keep. This is an excellent hand. We have to kind of hope that we draw us a little bit more action than we currently have. But this sets up for a really good turn 1, turn 2. Old Growth Troll, pretty powerful against this go wide strategy. But we are kind of just playing our heart out here. There's some weird combat math that's about to happen. Have access to a lot of mana next turn. And they're at 20. And let's just take a moment to think, because I took a long moment to think here. Ooh. Pause. Great pause. I took a long moment to think here because we know that they have a Karn in hand. So I have the ability to cord for 3. Cording for 3 does 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 damage, brings them to 12. So my attack has to deal 12 damage. I also could have corded for what's it called? Revoker. That's a safe play. Because if I can't kill them next turn, they probably have enough mana that I need Karn to be turned off. So I was trying to think of ways that this is lethal next turn, and what I ended up coming up with is that if I cord with no other new cards, if I cord for Shaman of the Pack, I'd bring them to 12. And then I'd either need to activate this and get 4 creatures in, or I'd need to activate this with Leafcrown Visionary and get 3 creatures in. And that's exactly what can happen. So if I do that, then untap, let's say I draw something that doesn't work with the plan, like obviously top decking a land is insane. But if I do that and I play Leafcrown Visionary, and then I tap with Elvish Mystic and Forest, and then I tap Llanowar Visionary and just Bear Sentinel on the Leafcrown Visionary to activate this. That gives me exactly 7 mana. And then when I attack, I'm attacking with Elvish War Master, 3 4/4 tokens, and the Shaman in the Pack, and they can only block 2. Took me a while to find that line. Took me quite a while because I'm doing math with a lot of things that aren't visible to me. But I did take that line. We ended up drawing another Shaman in the Pack, which makes it super lethal. But I probably would have taken the safe play otherwise. We could draw a Court of Calling. So we can just play out all our guys and then cord for Shaman, and then that's 12 damage exactly. So had it the whole time. Oh, we draw the Shaman of the Pack, which is funny because we don't have a black source after that way we tapped. But yeah, so we super overkilled them. So that's great. So it's round 4. Sorry, I was out of order on Twitter. Going to round 5. Thanks, viewers. Thanks for watching. We're just doing a recap of the top 8 from today. So you can see the gameplay that we went through. So let's see. This is round 5. On Twitter, what I say it was round 5. I said it was mono green, so this must be the red black. Ooh, thanks for the sub. Bim plays, very much appreciated. So quick pause. Let's see, quick pause. So I looked up this person before the start, and I saw red black mid, and I was like, okay, that's fine. We're on the draw. We keep a 1-lander, but we have a bunch of elves. And then this comes down, Cauldron Familiar, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this red black stack. So that's horrible, right? And this is our win. It's our round at 5, so it's not our win, and we can afford to lose 1. But pretty much the worst thing that we can see, the best matchup against this deck, they end up having a really bad time. with their draws. They don't cooperate, and our draws cooperate phenomenally well. I don't play Paseju here because I want to be able to Paseju a, what's it called? Could be a Fable to Mirror Breaker, but most likely the Oven that combos with Cat Oven. They don't interact with our turn 1 play, which is nice. That means we are able to get this War Master in and get a trigger off of it, which is rare for sure. Concede against Cauldron to show respect. Yeah, no, for sure. It's rare that we win this one, and usually, let me just pull this up. Oh, I can't pull the deck list up right now. Usually, we have Shaper Sanctuary in the board, and if we're gonna win a game, it's probably a game with Shaper Sanctuary out. But we are really soft to it with the current sideboard. Could have blocked here, but we have a Quarter Calling, so I kind of want to keep as many creatures as possible. They're killing our stuff. It's not great. But we're just trying to go wide. Maybe this Quarter Calling will matter. Maybe we'll finally be able to play this Collected Company. But they are keeping us off Collected Company. They're killing the right things. But they are running out of resources. They're not drawing their all the cards that they'd want. We're just trying to get in as much damage as possible so that this Cord and Collected Company can eventually do something. But they obviously don't have anything going on, buying Gigantha and things like that. So, anytime if they draw something that pings, we're in a really bad spot, so it's probably bad. But they don't draw anything. So, we won a game against them, which once again, rare. Not the easiest thing to do with this deck. But we end up getting it in 2. So let's see what happens game 2. I don't really remember this. Not the best hand, but it's fine. I'm not going to mulligan this. This Twin Ends Elite, it could go really poorly. Like, this Twin Ends Elite might not trigger. We really hope to untap with just Barrow Sentinel. But Blood Tithe Harvester doesn't kill this, obviously, so feel pretty good about that. Drawing Collected Company, not the best here. Hopefully we can get them both off. We really need to top deck a land. But yeah, they're going after the right things. War Master, once again, not really doing much here. But, quick pause. I don't play it. And actually, I don't remember making that play. But I was thinking I need a Cord for 1 to get closer to Collected Company. Now that I think about it. Obviously, once again, they're not really doing much. Not developing their board in a meaningful way. Fable finally does something for them, which is great for them. Don't love to Cord when they have this kind of board. But hopefully we just top deck the land, and then we can Collected Company next turn, and we don't do it. I offer the trade for this Twin Ends Elite, and they take it, which seems wrong. But maybe they just don't need access to the mana. We're finally wide enough that unless they play a Mayhem Devil right here, we're probably untapping with enough mana. I end up making a really bad play this one. So we get these 2 things, which is great. Get a trigger. I could hold Beseiju, but I think we play it, and I regret it because killing Witch's Oven is the most important thing in the entire world. In this matchup, why did I do this? Just bad play. I think I was getting overconfident. I thought I understood what their hand was. This, I think, is a 1 of in their list, but that Extinction Event was insane. But, we still have access to another Collected Company. We can try to rebuild. These, double Shaman Pact does a lot. I don't play Collected Company because I want to do it on their end step, because if I do it on their end step, then Blood Tithe Harvester has fewer attackers. So fewer targets, sorry, because this can activate anytime, but this can only activate as a sorcery. And this is where I think myself into a hole. So let me just pause when I do Collected Company. So I do Collected Company, get a really good Collected Company, and I know that I have double Shaman. Can't use them both. And pause. Whoa, all right. So we activate. This is where I think myself into a hole. So I could have just activated War Master and attacked. That's actually pretty solid of a plan. Whatever blocks has to trade. That's what I wish that I did, looking back. What that also allows is that when I untap, I can Shaman or double Shaman no matter what. My alternatives are playing Scavenging Ooze and trying to go after their Cauldron Familiar. But I guess what I'm thinking right now is that it says that they're at 18, but what they're really at is 20 because they can get 2 cauldron triggers. And they could also go to 21 if they copy Cauldron Familiar with Reflection of Kiki. But the hole that I think myself into is that this is a sorcery speed, which it's not, and you're going to see me do an awful attack. So I play this, draw a card off of it. We got another Leaf Crown Visionary. We get the triggers, we're living the high life. Things are good. We get them to 10. We play another one of these. We draw a card off of it. We get a Beseiju. We could win the game by Beseijuing their Witch's Oven right now, but we don't because we're bad at the game. And we just go for double Shaman. Okay, bad plays all around. But we get them to 2. And if we just don't attack right here, we're still doing okay. But I leave myself with just enough attackers to attack all of them into nothing and die. All right, so they're at 2. This attack is the worst attack I've ever taken because they copy here. And then they just get to eat all of these. There we go. They just get to eat all of these, or chump this one, but whatever. I was thinking that I was forcing them to block with one of these. That was my thought process. I was like, they're forced to block with one of these, and then they don't have this combo going on. But yeah, I take the worst line in the whole world. Now they get to kill 2 things with these 2 guys. We don't have, just a direct damage to their face anymore. We could have just developed, lost nothing, but whatever. They don't draw really much at all, and we can cord for the Shaman. So we draw ourselves out of it. Once again, probably the worst play I've done, but you know what? Worked out. That was our one big misplay of the day. So if that's the one big one, that's fine. All right, so we win round 5 even after that. They didn't draw a single Mayhem Devil in like 40 cards, so that's great. So onto our win and in. We win it in 2. I'm pretty sure this is Lotus Field, and we're on the draw. I don't know this is Lotus Field. We have a reasonable hand, decent curve. Another Shaman in the pack. Not exactly what we're looking for, but... Oh, they're on a mold of 4. Forgot about that. Yeah, they mold to 4 here. So gives us a little bit more time. They do have Sylvan Scrying and Thespian Stage, which is fine, but usually they need a pretty decent size hand to be able to go off. Our hand's not good, though. Leaf Crown Visionary, what are we going to be able to do next turn? If we draw land, we can Shaman, but otherwise we're just playing a naked Shaman. I was trying to think what actually happens, but the game's over, so we don't even have to think about it. Okay. That was game 1, so we're going into game 2. This one's actually a little bit more of a game. I actually, now that I'm thinking about it, make a pretty bad Collected Company here, but this is an awesome hand. We're in that same boat where I have Jaspera Sentinel into War Master, Thoughtseize on my turn 2. It's not a removal deck, so I'm not too worried about that. But yeah, we play the Jaspera Sentinel. I think that we have a little bit of an option that I'll talk about. Okay, let's go 1. So we draw this. Same dilemma as last time. So obviously we're War Mastering, but are we going to Thoughtseize or are we going to Elvish Mystic? The thing for Thoughtseize is that if they have a Path of Perils in the untap, then we want the Thoughtseize. But I think that going wider is a little bit better. So let's see what we do. I'm pretty sure that we do the same thing and Mystic, which is great. Sets us up for a solid Thoughtseize next turn. They Impulse. They play a land. They Sylvan Scrying for Thespian Stage and play Lotus Field. So, that's pretty powerful. They have 3 cards in hand that we don't know. So we have to Thoughtseize here. This Collected Company is not super welcome. Oh, I take Pour over the pages, right? Let's just reveal what they had. So we know, so they have Hidden Strings and Vizier of Tumbling Sands. and I took Pour over the pages. So they have a lot of mana, but nothing to do with that mana. We go wider and wider. Let's hit play. I think next turn is where I make a really bad Collected Company. But let's see. Get in for some damage. Eventually this Grazer isn't going to be able to block productively. They play Lotus Field, untap it, and do they do anything with their mana? They just activate Thespian Stage. So now we don't know that they have Vizier or Thespian Stage. They just know that they have Hidden Strings. All right, this is the worst play. All right, pause. Look at this board. Why would we ever Coco here? We're just so far ahead, right? Their hand has 2 cards. We know about Hidden Strings. We don't know about 2 others. So I guess they have the option to like go off next turn. What I did was I collected Company here and I just got swept up. It was pretty awful. What I have the option to do is attack for 6. They take 3 and then Collected Company at the end step. And I think that those lines are pretty much identical except for maybe like Double Lord. But either way, they're at 18. I have to have a really specific Collected Company in order to kill them here. Like Double Shaman would do it. Maybe Shaman Lord would do it. Would Shaman Lord do it? Let's see. It would hit for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, Shaman Lord would do it. But it's still pretty specific. I don't think I'm desperate enough to do that, but I do it, and the Collected Company is fine. We hit 2 things. We get a War Master and an Elite. You know, we go pretty wide. I just think that we would have been better to do that after. You know, if they go for like a Pour over the pages and it looks like they're going to go off, I could go for that Shaman line anyway. You know, we get in some decent numbers for the attack. Looks like they're dead next turn. Once again, I do think that was a mistake. This is pretty cool. They scry, they draw with Vizier, and then they wrath us. So that was bad. They only have 2 cards in hand. One of them is hidden strings. They have like unlimited mana, so we just have to hope they don't draw anything. I have the option of playing both of these. I end up playing this because I wanted to play a Collected Company, and any top deck land does that. Yeah, they don't have much going on, though. They really need card draw. Okay, we get our Collected Company. Double Shaman's really nice. Hits them for 6, they're at 8. Puts us at lethal next turn. Probably could have waited on that, but I don't know. I probably psyched myself into thinking there was a counter spell. We just needed to fade in 1 draw step, and we definitely did that. So Shaman hitting here, hits for 4, then they're going to take 7, so that's game. Yeah, 1 major misstep there. Pretty major. But like there was upside. I'm not saying like it wasn't the worst. It wasn't as bad as my attack last game, but it was a pretty major misstep. So those are all the rounds that we won. So now let's go into some rounds that we lose. So here, I don't know, it's 50 time. I don't know if you're still in here, but this is you. This is in 3. We lose match 1. This is neat. Thank you. We lose match 1. We play Jaspera Sentinel first because it's better to lose that to a removal spell. This game's not very interesting. I just developed my board into them not drawing their 3rd land ever. But you know, we got a good thing going on here. You know, these cards are going to be good eventually. Court of Calling's obviously good here. We're trying to be able to just cast both of these things. We end up being able to Court for 2 here, which is pretty powerful. They left up 2 mana, so I was expecting a removal spell, so I wanted something that got immediate value. So I end up getting Dwinnen's Elite here. They kill it, but you know, they're at 18. We have access to a Collected Company and we have a big board. I'm not worried about a sweeper right now, obviously. This isn't great, but our board is pretty massive. So in game 1, We're gonna lose game 2 pretty handily. Keep a 1-lander. Pretty solid 1-lander. Two mana dorks. Like any second land, even if we miss the first land drop, is fine. But we have two draws to get there. But we end up just never drawing a land. In a pretty embarrassing fashion. Yeah, this is probably game. I ended up going for Mass Vandal on the token. But yeah, not much else to see here. We're just gonna die to Shieldred. I think I concede right here. I did. Nice. All right, game 3. Solid hand. No 1-drop, which is fine. We can make do. But this Pithing Needle wins in the game. Yeah, yeah, it's 50 time. They were pretty lame games, but yeah, this Pithing Needle ends up being insane. I didn't think it was going to be that good because we have access to ways to kill Pithing Needle. Like I have Beseiju in hand. I end up having to play it for land. And then Vivian also has its passive, so I was like, okay, so like even if we get Vivian out, it ends up being really good. And Vivian, I'm not gonna lie, ended up being really good here. We get some damage in. I think this is Shieldred, and the Shieldred comboed with Pithing Needle really wins them the game. So you get Vivian out. My plan was to protect Vivian. We get a lot of cards off of that. Just doesn't go our way. They have a really aggressive line. But yeah, we're able to kind of like draw, hopefully, out of it. And we do a pretty good job. I traded this. I kind of regret it almost. Yeah, at some point you gave up trying to kill her. Yeah, once I was at like 9, I think you started attacking me rather than her. Now that you can see it from my point of view, I really needed to protect her because like look at the top card. If I draw Lair for turn, I'm dead, right? Like I can't do anything. So it was pretty important for me to protect her at least in the early spots. Had to throw a lot of creatures underneath. I was really tempted to gang block Shieldred here. I thought that you'd maybe only do this attack if you had another Shieldred in hand. Or a removal spell in hand, so I didn't end up doing that. We don't love the Collected Company being on top. We wanted to be able to use more mana, but obviously this Pithing Needle is holding us back. Wait, saw that your last list on Twitter had no answers to Shieldred and use. Yeah, no, I don't have answers for Shieldred. Usually Vivian is my answer for Shieldred. I can kind of like go wider. Scavenging Ooze can like gain me a bunch of life. I'm just really trying to go for the long game, running out of sweepers. But yeah, I don't have any answers here. Scavenging Ooze is usually really good, and it ended up being really good, right? It gave me a lot of life. And kind of like stem the bleeding of Shieldred a little bit. I thought I won the game right here. Look at this spot. Quick pause. Look at this spot. 2 Collected Companies in hand. We're casting this from the top of the library. We got a Vivian going. We have a Scavenging Ooze going. If I were to show you a picture like this, you'd be like, oh, you won that game, right? I mean, I'm at 10. It's kind of low. But I should, like, in theory, I thought I was going to be able to, like, really take advantage of this situation. This being the top card is a little bit unfortunate. I really need a War Master going. I need to go wide. But there's a pretty timely sweeper coming up here. So I think this is Extinction Event on Odd. Followed by a removal spell for Scavenging Ooze, which is a horrible combo for us. So this Collected Company, you know what? These are coming at me, yeah. I need to block everything now for the rest of the game. And I also need to go wide, so that sequence ended up being really bad for us. It's really hard to go wide now. No Fatal Push for the War Master, which is good. I think I end up drawing. No, I was gonna say, do I end up drawing a card here? I don't. I ended up playing this because we weren't gonna draw a card off of it, and I wanted to be able to activate War Master in a better way. What I think happens is that we just run into another sweeper and die. Shieldred gained 40 life. Yeah, Shieldred did a lot. So this is another spot where we just hit Extinction Event number 2 with an Abrade. And then I lost the game. So it was really close, I think. Like for both of those turns, if it was just Extinction Event, no follow-up removal, it would have been a very different game. But yeah, we couldn't get there. But it was kind of nice because this game didn't matter, right? We were locked for top 8. But definitely good games. I really underestimated this Pithing Needle for sure. And going into the last one, round 8. This one's a heartbreaker because I think that Spirits is a really, really good matchup. We're on the draw, and we keep this hand. Whoa. We keep this hand against Spirits. We do know it's Spirits also. So this hand is really good at getting out there really fast, but obviously it needs some follow-up in order to do anything. Oh yeah, I wanted the 7-0 really badly. Anyway, start off with Mystic because we're on the play. Oh, I said we're on the draw. I take it back. We're on the play. And I start with this because I want Despair Sentinel to block if they start with like Spectral Sailor or something like that. Because I want it untapped on turn 2. We don't want that land. I kept Mystic in hand because it's not ramping me towards anything, and if I draw the Lord, I can draw another card. Obviously, we're in a horrible spot. I got a little bit aggressive because I was feeling a little bit desperate, and they only had one land. They missed their second land drop. Ended up costing me a little bit. We didn't really ever draw anything anyway. But you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, if I didn't make that attack, this chord would have been insane. So I think that I cost the game by doing that attack. Right? Like this chord could have gotten War Master, which would have been able to activate. It could have also gotten our Lord so that we can kind of like draw out of this bad situation. And we would have had 2 extra mana to pay for the counterspell that they're about to do. So yeah, now that I'm looking at this, that was a really, really big mishap. I don't think we end up drawing like anything. Yeah, like Besager doesn't do anything. Gladly take this trade. And the rest of the game's not interesting. So looking back, I made a bad attack. Didn't really have any benefits, right? Like getting him 3 damage lower is probably not going to do anything for us. And then it ended up costing me. I lost to a Spell Pierce. Yeah, I think we're dead here. Don't really remember what happens. But that, like, it's not like there's any really draws that we can get out of this, right? Like, Collected Company into Double Shaman could do it, but lose game 1. Losing game 1 ends up costing us the match, so that they have exactly 9 damage on board now. So we go to game 2. Once again, pretty good matchup. We're on the play. We want to see something with the War Master trigger on turn 2, which is great. I end up playing Mystic first because once again I want Despair Sentinel block in case they flash in a Spectral Sailor, which they do. We play Shaman. We're not worried about them trying to do a counterspell so much. We end up putting that on top and trying to just get in there. I thought that I was going to see a trade there, but I didn't end up seeing that. Besager's not really going to do much for us. We're just the aggressors here. Get in with our attacks. I thought about attacking with this for a while because if I didn't, we could activate this next turn. But I think just the upside's too high. They don't draw out of it, so they concede. And then we go to game 3. I mulliganed that hand because it did not have a 1-drop. And I think I'd keep it on the play, but on the draw, I really can't do it. This hand, if we draw a second land, has a turn 3 company, which I really like. We also have double Jaspera Sentinel. I think that I lose the game on one land, where they just had a little bit too much disruption for me to get an actual card out there. This Curious Obsession was insane for them too. So we have like a big development, right? And if we weren't on such a fast clock, I think we would have been okay. They end up spell calling this, which is really, really rough. We didn't even have a 2-drop to like capitalize on this. Like, we're not even spending our mana the way we want to every turn. With them doing that, we end up putting it on bottom, but we can't even collect a company next turn. Like, we're dead. This felt really, really bad. But yeah, we made it to top 8, which was great. Would have liked to go a little bit further in the tournament, especially having a good matchup in this. But like any good matchup, you know, you can all of a sudden find yourself on the back foot and you're suddenly dead. We lose to another Spell Pierce, and that's the end of the tournament. So some comments before heading out. If you're looking to play Elves, I think it's a good time to get into it because I think that it only gets better with the new set. Tyvar seems insane. Let's go back to our collection. This is the deck list that I'm running. If you're interested in running it or seeing what I'm running post 1, or the Phyrexia, new Phyrexia all will be 1. Feel free to follow me on Patreon. I just uploaded the sideboard guide with this exact deck list in mind. This week I'll be uploading some deck lists that I want to use Tyvar in because I think that card's really powerful. I think that, you know, we could throw it in the sideboard, kind of have it replace Vivian, but also we might see some main board action with it. I'll definitely be playtesting that once it comes out, which I think is this weekend. But yeah, find this recap on YouTube after. You can find sideboard guides and other information about the Elves deck on my Patreon. And then if you like what you see here, and thanks for the sub BIM plays as always, and thanks for all the follows from the other people that are new to the channel. I'm going to be logging off and going to eat dinner. But once again, you can follow me on all of those social media outlets if you're interested. Thanks for watching, and have a great week ahead of you.